Okay, so the work program, just really quickly, like the purpose of the work program, right, is to establish the project's budget and your schedule. This is also used by our invoicing/contracts team whenever you submit an RFD to check against your invoice. And then later on, Erica will go over like the RFD template. You'll see that there is some matching that goes on between the way you've laid out your project budget and on the RFD and what shows up on the work program. And also this work program can be easily amended than the grant agreement. So the grant agreement is a very formal document, right? Like a contract. And so if there's any changes that needs to go, that's more formal, it has to go through this whole approval process. Whereas the work program, let's say, for example, you need to move some money around in your grant, like let's say your task 1, you're able to free up some money from task 1. So you want to put it into task 2, which could be like implementation, like signage, creation, or construction. That's a pretty simple like conversation to have with your project manager. And just, as long as the movement of the funds makes reasonable sense, that can just be done by the project manager, and we'll send you an updated work program. Okay. So an example of the project description. So this is going to be like the first thing that you see on your work program is section 1, project description. And the point is this to give a sort of really high level, concise summary of your project. You want to sort of state the purpose of this project. It's also on a template. So we will have language in the template to guide you on how to draft your work program and the project description. So we always start with the purpose of this project is, et cetera. And that is so when someone reads your work program, they like know exactly what the goal is, like right off the bat. And then after that, we want you to put like sort of a more narrative description of how you're going to get to the goal. So as you can see in this example, the purpose of this project is to fund this program for surfing that helps connect women and girls to the ocean. And how are they going to do that? They're going to introduce 100 girls and women colored to the ocean through 12 community surf sister days. So it's going to be a brief paragraph, but also concise as well. And I do want to put a disclaimer because you guys are our first, ever Coastal Stories project. Much of the examples that we'll be giving here is more of our existing projects. So just kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it's going to be very similar to how we'll want you to structure your work program. Okay. So then after the project description, we'll ask you to break down your overall project via tasks, right? So the task portion, we want you to describe the project in detail by task. So important details like what you'll be doing, where you'll be doing them, how, and the narrative will contain the outcomes, and the task deliverables is for the work products produced through the task. So I've had grantees in the past that put in like task 4, maintenance. And then in the description, they'll put maintenance. So we don't want to see that, right? We want to like, what are you doing with maintenance? Or what are you going to be spending most of your funds on? And that will help us understand your task deliverables. So task deliverables could be like photos of maintenance and like purchasing invoices, which is actually also part of project management. So as you can see, and also progress reports as well. So you have like these reports that you can give. Your project manager will work with you to identify the appropriate deliverables that will help us understand the task itself. And then also there are different ways to break up the tasks. So let's say you have a really big task, project preparation. Within project preparation, you can have like subtasks 4.1, outreach, community engagement and outreach, subtask 4.2, etc. So if that helps you organize your work program for your purposes, feel free to do that. Your project manager will look at the work program and see if it makes sense to have it like that, or if it's just easier to smush it together into like one overall task. Okay, so this is the schedule. So in the work program, there's going to be a table, schedule table. You'll see the task number. So that should match the narrative above in the task section. And then you have your task title. You have your deliverables. Again, they should all match. And then your estimated start date and then your estimated completion date.